help you too.
If you've been injured in a car accident, get a lawyer and get it done. Call Hughes & Coleman, 1-800-489-6000.
Tonight, it could have been a disaster. An American Airlines jet skids off the runway in Jamaica and nearly into the sea.
We just felt a big crash. All the lights went off and we felt a big impact.
Remarkably, everyone gets out alive. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, holiday travel plans for hundreds of thousands are about to be ruined, thanks to another wicked storm that this time could paralyze the Midwest. It's finally over. A 5-year tug of war comes to an end as a Brazilian family agrees to turn over a 9-year-old boy to his American father. Plus, he was out of work and out of luck until he wrote a song that changed his life. A Hollywood ending in tonight's American Spirit.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. It's enough to send chills up the spine of any traveler. An American Airlines flight nearly ended in tragedy. This footage taken today shows how close the 737 came to plunging into the Caribbean after skidding off the runway in Kingston, Jamaica last night. Flight 331 originated in Washington, D.C. with a stop in Miami before heading to rainy Kingston with 154 people on board. But when it landed, the pilots could not stop. Bags flew around the cabin as the jet careened off the runway. Kelly Kobiea is in Kingston tonight, where the investigation is just getting underway.
Investigators from the United States and Jamaica have been examining the wreckage of Flight 331 here behind me throughout the day. They've found one of the black boxes. They're still looking for the second. They know this much about this flight. It was a bumpy ride throughout and ended with one violent thud.
Landing in heavy rain, American Airlines Flight 331 slammed down and skidded off the end of the Kingston, Jamaica airport runway.
We just felt a big crash. All the lights went off and we felt a big impact, and we realized that the plane had crashed. And we were out, we scrambled out because we tried to get, we didn't know if it was going to explode, so we tried to get out as quickly as possible.
The plane crashed through a retaining fence and broke apart.
I heard this humongous boom. The plane actually disintegrated to me, broke in half right in row 13.
Of the 148 passengers and 6 crew members on board, 76 were U.S. citizens. Of those, at least 40 were taken to local hospitals with minor injuries. 4 Americans were in serious condition. No one died.
None of the injuries appear to be life-threatening at this point.
Flight 331 started at Washington's Reagan National Airport before stopping over in Miami. It left Miami at 8:52 p.m. Eastern Time, experiencing heavy turbulence in flight, then landing with one final thud, hitting the runway at Jamaica's Norman Manley Airport at 10:22 p.m. Passengers said the plane hit runway 12 at a high speed and touched down hard. It slid off the runway, cracking into 3 parts, and ended up about 15 feet from the Caribbean Sea.
It overshot the runway, left the airport and went into the sand.
American investigators have arrived to assist the Jamaican authorities. U.S. authorities will bring the plane's flight data recorder, one of its black boxes, back to Washington to try to figure out what happened.
One of the questions is how fast were they going? How far down the runway did they first touch down? Were there pools of water on the runway?
Investigators will also look for evidence of wind shear, check the jet's braking systems, and review the pilot's actions. But Jim Tillman, a former American Airlines pilot, says severe weather alone should not have been a problem for the 8-year-old Boeing 737.
And investigators are still working here in the dark in Kingston, Jamaica. They are trying to free the second black box, the cockpit voice recorder. That will allow them to actually hear what the pilots were saying in the final moments of Flight 331 and as it actually crash landed here in Jamaica, helping them to better understand why this happened. Katie?
And Kelly, were the weather conditions in Jamaica unusual last night?
Not particularly. This island gets thunderstorms and heavy rain quite often, and experts say it shouldn't be a problem for a pilot to land in those kinds of conditions.
All right, Kelly Kobeyea in Kingston, Jamaica tonight. Thank you so much. Hopefully it won't be as terrifying as that trip to Jamaica, but holiday travel won't be easy for many Americans this year. A big winter storm is pushing across the nation's midsection, raising the chance of a white Christmas from Texas to Minnesota and all the aggravation that sometimes comes with that. Dean Reynolds is at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. And Dean, some rough days ahead.
No kidding, Katie. This storm is coming at the worst possible moment if you're traveling most anywhere for the holidays. It's a wintry 1-2-3 of rain, sleet, and snow that is crossing the Great Plains now, bearing down on the Great Lakes and tying travel plans in knots.
This storm will have its biggest impact in the Central Plains and Northern Plains over the next couple of days.
As officials scanned the ominous Yuletide map, airports began posting problems early in the morning. Southwest scrubbed all 40 of its afternoon flights out of Chicago's icy Midway. More than 2-hour delays cropped up at O'Hare, enough to drive some customers to drink.
It's very frustrating, but nothing that the good stuff won't take the edge off of.
The weather discouraged even small trips, and that worried retailers, already set back by this past weekend's blizzard. Sales on Saturday were down $1 billion from a year ago. Now merchants fear the new storm will snarl last-minute shopping. JCPenney has already announced post-Christmas deals and will open at 5 a.m. on Saturday. On the roads, with 87 million people expected to travel 50 miles or more this holiday, Omaha gave the eastern half of the country a look at what to expect.
You have to go over to the international side of the airport here.
Back at the airports, carriers tried to smooth the wrinkles by waiving fees, allowing passengers to rebook around the storm.
You're seeing consumers in high numbers right now try to get out before the storm comes.
That's what Wendy Stebbins did.
Everything is timing in life, and apparently I timed it just right to get out in time.
But for many others, they are not as fortunate. Katie?
Dean Reynolds, thank you very much. Turning to Washington now, where heading home for the holidays is very much on the minds of senators there, but they can't leave until they finish work on their health care bill. Today, they cleared the way for a final vote tomorrow morning, but as Wyatt Andrews reports, many businesses are still wondering what's in it for them.
We will always remember this day.
For Senate Democrats, it was already victory time as they asked Americans to forget the bitter politics that produced the Senate bill and focus on what the bill does.
We can be proud that every American in every state will benefit from new consumer protections and a more stable, secure health care system.
President Obama also praised the new guarantees for people who could lose insurance.
And for a family out there that right now doesn't have health insurance, it is a great deal.
Republicans admitted it was over, but kept fighting, calling the bill government-run health care and arguing the Senate bill is even unconstitutional because it forces Americans to buy insurance they may not want or pay a penalty.
The United States has never, in its history, ever passed something like this.
Beyond the politics, one big detail was creating buzz, a $750 penalty per employee at any big company that does not offer insurance. While most companies have said they plan to stay in the system, the fact is insurance costs employers around $10,000 per employee. But if the penalty is $750 to drop insurance, many corporations will be tempted.
Will some companies basically say, I'd rather pay the $750?
Every company is going to do that calculation.
Tomorrow, those handshakes end and the Senate goes home, and the question becomes, can the Senate bill and the House bill ever come together? Katie?
And Wyatt, there are plenty of sticking points between the two versions.
That's right, Katie. You know, the president today said these bills are 95% similar, but the truth is clashes are already breaking out over abortion rights and especially the public option. And so even if the president is right, that last 5% involves lawmakers who want to be accommodated and who will threaten to withhold their vote.
All right. Wyatt Andrews in Washington. Wyatt, as always, thank you. Meanwhile, a holiday reunion is in store for David Goldman and his 9-year-old son, Sean. The American father has vowed he won't leave Brazil without his son, and tonight it appears he won't have to. The boy's Brazilian relatives say they're packing up his toys as they prepare to turn him over to his father just hours from now. Here's Jeff Glor.
After 5 long, desperate years, David Goldman's legal battle seems to be over. But the waiting continues. Sean Goldman's Brazilian family said today they would honor the Brazilian Supreme Court's decision, giving up their fight for the 9-year-old boy. Lawyers are now discussing an exchange that will be as seamless as possible. This bitter family battle began when Sean was only 3, after his mother took him to Brazil, divorced David, and married a prominent Brazilian lawyer. Sean's mother died in childbirth last year, but his new stepfather and grandmother kept fighting to keep him in South America.
The whole reason that they're here for 5 years is because these judges haven't been doing their jobs all that time.
Sean Goldman, it turns out, is hardly the only child caught in an international custody fight. Across the globe, the State Department is actively involved in the return of 3,000 other American children abducted by parents and taken overseas. 16 of those cases are in Brazil, a country which some feel is only now bowing to pressure after Congress threatened to hold up a $3 billion trade bill.
My hope is that the United States uses its power and that behind the scenes they're working not only to get Sean Goldman back home, but to get all the other kids that are stuck in Brazil back home.
The fate of all those other children will have to wait. Tonight, it appears at least one case is resolved. Jeff Glor, CBS News, New York.
And coming up next, right here on the CBS Evening News, he watched helplessly as computer hackers drained his bank account. And experts say it could happen to you.
Your doctor knows Tylenol arthritis doesn't interfere with certain high blood pressure medicines the way a leaf sometimes can. That's one reason why doctors recommend the medicine in Tylenol arthritis more than any other pain reliever.
Boring ground beef? Let Campbell's transform it into French onion burgers with unmistakable flavor. Go to campbellskitchen.com for more mouth-watering recipes. So many reasons it's so good.
If you've had a heart attack caused by a completely blocked artery, another heart attack could be lurking, waiting to strike. A heart attack caused by a clot, one that could be fatal. But Plavix helps save lives. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, goes beyond what other heart medicines do alone to provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke and even death by helping to keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Ask your doctor about Plavix, protection that helps save lives. People with stomach ulcers or other conditions that cause bleeding should not use Plavix. Taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, may increase bleeding risk, so tell your doctor when planning surgery. Certain genetic factors in some medicines, such as Prilosec, may affect how Plavix works. Tell your doctor all the medicines you take, including aspirin, especially if you've had a stroke. If fever, unexplained weakness, or confusion develops, tell your doctor promptly. These may be signs of TTP, a rare but potentially life-threatening condition reported sometimes less than 2 weeks after starting Plavix. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
Well, hey, glad I caught you. I was on my way to present ideas about all the discounts we're offering. I've got some catchphrases that'll make these savings even more memorable.
All right. Good driver discounts. Now that's the stuff.
How about this?
They're the bee's knees.
Or this?
Sir, how about just 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance?
Yeah. Good luck with that catching on.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Look, I don't want to work forever.
Then we need to figure this out now. Our nest egg took a real hit.
What's that website your friend mentioned?
RetirementRedZone.com?
That's it, from Prudential.
Yeah, she talked to her financial advisor about what she learned there. Said it really helped her get back on track.
Oh, I like that.
Help get your plan back on track. Watch our educational video at RetirementRedZone.com, the site for the critical years before and after retirement.
Maybe I can retire after all.
Now you're talking.
Click RetirementRedZone.com, then talk to your financial professional.
The millions of Americans who use a BlackBerry to stay in touch were reconnected today. Email service went out yesterday for the second time in a week. The Canadian company that runs BlackBerry, Research in Motion, blames it on a glitch involving some new software. And as internet use continues to soar, so has cybercrime. Last year, Americans filed more than 275,000 complaints, up 33% from 2007. And a warning to anyone who banks online, hackers are getting better all the time at stealing money from personal accounts. Bob Orr with a case in point in tonight's Eye on Crime.
When Robert Blanchard tried to access his Citibank account this past July, he was blocked. Even though he alerted Citibank right away, within 24 hours, Blanchard was missing $1 million.
If you had a robbery taking place in your facility, you could call 911. There's no 911 for cybercrime.
Investigators later found his computer had been hacked by an organized crime gang in Russia. Internet thieves monitoring Blanchard's keystrokes were able to access and empty his bank account.
It's the business of hacking where organized criminal elements have very well-structured organizations to specifically target financial institutions, specifically target their customers, and to extract as much wealth and value as they can without getting caught.
Blanchard, though, is just one victim of a largely unacknowledged cyber crime wave. No one knows exactly how much money is being stolen. But law enforcement sources say foreign-based hackers are continuously targeting customer accounts of every major financial firm. While the cyber thieves have been very successful, banks and financial firms refuse to publicly concede any losses.
No one wants to admit they've been hit. No one wants to come out and say, I have a problem and I need help.
Banks, fearing a drop in customer confidence, are working to bolster their cyber security. But individuals like Robert Blanchard, who use home computers to do their banking, are still highly vulnerable.
I have stopped transferring money. I'd rather take the walk down to the bank.
Investigators helped Blanchard recover about $810,000, and Citibank covered the balance of his missing million. But his case stands as fair warning. Online banking customers are prime targets of criminals armed with computers. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
Peter 10:17.
Ruth 2:11.
James 11:9.
When I was hungry. When I was lost. When I was stoned.
You gave me help.
Faith.
Joy.
You gave me a chance. Amanda 4:6. When I was saved.
Your holiday donations to the Salvation Army make change all year long.
Don't let your migraine become someone else's pain. Excedrin Migraine, clinically proven to relieve your migraine in just one dose. Excedrin, what ache?
An important message from Medicare.
How's your daughter, Manny?
Good. We were just going over prescription drug plans.
Medicare, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm there next year.
Yeah, every year during open enrollment, I can review my plan. Mine still works for me. How about a plan for up here?
Now's the time to review your Medicare prescription drug and health plans. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Welcome to Glad TV. Thanks, Skylar. Let's go to last night's highlights. There's Mom and Dad cleaning up. And there's the meatloaf. Yuck. Look what sometimes happens with the ordinary bag. It flips. Oh, bingo. Falls in. Mom was mad. Mom should have used Glad Force Flex with a new stretchable drawstring that grips the can and stays in place. Plus, it has the stretchable strength of Force Flex. That's all today for Glad TV. Don't get mad, get glad!
Dear Cat, your hair mixes with pollen and dust. I get congested, but now with Zyrtec D, I have the proven allergy relief of Zyrtec plus a powerful decongestant. Zyrtec D lets me breathe freer, so I can love the air.
Zyrtec D, behind the pharmacy counter. No prescription needed.
Faster than a falling snowflake, able to lead closed schools in a single bound. News Channel 5's Snow Watch. Faster than ever.
Now with a special feature that'll alert you the moment your school closes.
Look here to see the largest school system cycle through quicker. And every school gets super treatment super fast. Plus, find out in a flash at newschannel5.com. News Channel 5 Snow Watch. The best closing info available is made possible by these fine sponsors.
Earlier in this broadcast, we told you about that American father who won his child custody case in Brazil. But another tough custody battle also made news today in Florida. As Michelle Miller reports, it involves an Army officer deployed to war who temporarily gave up custody of her son, then had to fight to get him back.
The child will be returned on a temporary basis to the mother.
Those were the orders that Lieutenant Colonel Vanessa Benson was waiting to hear. Orders from a Florida judge today that ended her 8-month-long custody battle for her 14-year-old son.
Since I returned from Afghanistan, I've been fighting a multi-state battle to get my son back.
Last December, Benson shipped out to serve in Afghanistan. She gave her ex-husband temporary custody of their son with the understanding John Jr. would return home once she did. That didn't happen.
I had gotten an email from my son's father that said, you need to get a lawyer. I'm not sending your son back to you.
Her ex-husband, John Collier Sr., who declined to speak with CBS News, lost his argument in court that he'd established a more stable life with his son in Florida while Benson was deployed with her Army unit.
I feel that I'm being put in the same category as an unfit mother.
Well, we need to pass this law to protect our service members.
Representative Michael Turner is trying to pass a bill in Congress that would prevent military parents' custody rights from being undermined after they've deployed overseas.
These people are not leaving their families or their children to go off to someplace to find themselves. They are serving their country.
A CBS News analysis of custody laws found only 5 states which guarantee children automatically return after deployment. 5 others prohibit deployment from being used against a service member in court. 14 have weaker provisions. The rest give no additional protections. Lieutenant Colonel Benson will bring John Jr. home to Kentucky for Christmas, reuniting him with his baby brother and stepfather.
I'm going to give him a big hug and let him know that this isn't going to affect his relationship with his dad.
She says she just wants to serve her country without sacrificing her son. Michelle Miller, CBS News, Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Meanwhile, in Colorado, those parents who claimed their 6-year-old had floated away in a balloon last October learned their fate today for pulling off that hoax. A judge in Fort Collins sentenced Richard Heaney to 90 days in jail and his wife, Mayumi, to 20 days. The couple was also given 4 years probation and banned from making money off the spectacle. In other news, Bernard Madoff's having health problems. The convicted swindler is now serving 150 years at a federal prison in North Carolina. Officials said today Madoff, who is 71, has been transferred to a medical unit. But they wouldn't say why, citing privacy rules. Next, a tune for our times. And a songwriter who's suddenly taking off.
My name is Herb, and I'm here to tell a story. My parents all smoked. My grandparents smoked. I've been a long-time smoker. I'm a guy who had given up quitting. What caused me to be interested was Chantix is not a nicotine product, and that intrigued me. The doctor said, while you're taking it, you can continue to smoke during the first week.
Chantix is proven to reduce the urge to smoke. In studies, 44% of Chantix users were quit during weeks 9 to 12 of treatment compared to 18% on sugar pill.
Today, I see myself as a jolly old man who doesn't have to smoke.
Herb quit smoking with Chantix and support. Talk to your doctor about Chantix and a support plan that's right for you. Some people have had changes in behavior, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. If you notice agitation, hostility, depression, or changes in behavior, thinking, or mood that are not typical for you, or if you develop suicidal thoughts or actions, stop taking Chantix and call your doctor right away. Talk to your doctor about any history of depression or other mental health problems, which can get worse while taking Chantix. Some people can have allergic or serious skin reactions to Chantix, some of which can be life-threatening. If you notice swelling of face, mouth, throat, or a rash, Stop taking Chantix and see your doctor right away. Tell your doctor which medicines you're taking, as they may work differently when you quit smoking. Chantix dosing may be different if you have kidney problems. The most common side effect is nausea. Patients also reported trouble sleeping and vivid, unusual, or strange dreams. Until you know how Chantix may affect you, use caution when driving or operating machinery. Chantix should not be taken with other quit smoking products.
The urges weren't like they used to be, and that helped me quit.
Talk to your doctor to find out if prescription Chantix is right for you.
This bill will let Americans keep the health coverage they have now.
And guarantee no one is denied coverage for getting sick.
Or for a pre-existing condition.
This bill keeps all medical decisions between doctors and their patients.
It'll lower the cost of health insurance and still lower the deficit.
This bill.
This is the bill.
This is the health reform bill we've been waiting for.
A hero for the holidays. A McMinnville police officer risks his life to save a man from a burning hotel room. We'll have details of the rescue next at 6.
We leave you tonight a little up in the air. It's a timely new movie that came at just the right time for an unemployed songwriter whose perseverance is a true example of the American spirit.
If you tried to run Kevin Rennick's story by a movie studio, they'd reject it. Too hokey, even for them.
You're Mr. 1 in a million.
Yeah, you might say that, yeah.
Rennick is an aspiring singer-songwriter in St. Louis. When the recession downsized him out of his day job with a marketing firm, he started to struggle.
It's that tired old advice again.
It was very, very brutal. You know, I had major bills that I could not pay. I'm still trying to pay them. I regularly was running on like a 1/16 of a tank of gas, regularly spending my last $15 or $20 on groceries.
Rennick had written a melancholy song that reflected his predicament called Up in the Air.
I'm up in the air, choices drifting by me.
Last February, when he heard Hollywood director Jason Reitman was in town, shooting a movie with George Clooney about the hopelessness of unemployment called, get this, Up in the Air, he laid down a track of his song on this 30-year-old cassette deck.
That's the sacred cassette recorder that I did the Up in the Air song on.
Rennick decided not to stop until he put it in Reitman's hands. When he saw the director was speaking at a local college, Rennick showed up and took his shot.
Certainly. And I felt the envelope and I said, is this a cassette tape? And he said, yeah. And I said, I don't even know where to listen to this. And I had to find a car with a cassette deck.
Rennick figured the big-time director wrote him off until this email popped up 6 months later with the news. Reitman loved the song and used it for the credits. The very same take Kevin Rennick laid down on the cassette, including his introduction.
Hi, Jason. My name is Kevin.
This isn't some kid with a guitar. This is a man, and you hear his voice, and he starts to talk, and you hear
pain.
Yeah.
The movie has turned out to be one of the year's hottest, with Best Picture and Best Director Golden Globe nominations, as well as Oscar buzz. Reitman just shakes his head at Rennick's story.
He's unemployed. He's also entitled the thing Up in the Air. Well,
Right.
what are the odds of that?
That I still don't quite understand.
This Christmas, Kevin Rennick has quite an unexpected stocking stuffer for his friends and family. The CD he shares with Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, his musical heroes.
I'm just on this ride that I don't know where it's going to go. I'm a little dizzy, but it's amazing. It's really amazing.
And the only thing up in the air for Kevin Rennick now is how much he'll make from the royalties. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, St. Louis.
'Cause they're up in the air.
Good for him. And if you know someone who has the American spirit, please let us know at cbsnews.com. And that is the CBS Evening News for tonight. I'm Katie Couric. Thank you for watching, and happy holidays, everyone. Good night.
As he witnessed fire consuming this hotel room, a mid-state police officer puts his life on the line to save the man inside.
A 5-year-old boy playing near a bonfire catches on fire himself. Tonight, 911 tapes reveal the disaster doesn't end there.
Seem to be missing a special delivery? You're not alone. Police claim thieves are keeping a careful eye on your front porch.
And last-minute shopping madness. The malls are packed as stores make major markdowns.
From your news and information leader, this is News Channel 5 at 6.
Hi, everyone. A police officer's bravery may have saved a man's life.
He ran into a flame-filled hotel room and put out the fire.
Now, paramedics flew the victim to Vanderbilt. Tonight, we're told he's in critical condition. The police officer who saved him is being called a hero. The officer talked with News Channel 5's Mark Bellinger today. And Mark, big question is, how does he feel about being called a hero?
He's a pretty humble guy, so he doesn't quite see it that way. He says he was just doing his job. No one else would go into the room, but he did, and he saved a man's life.
I was going to fire